You can be intelligent, well-educated, hardworking, and still feel constantly stressed about money. That confusion hurts the most because deep down you believe that being smart should automatically lead to financial success. But intelligence alone has never been the reason people build wealth. If it were, the richest people in the world would all be toppers, professors, or degree holders. The uncomfortable truth is this money doesn't reward intelligence. Money rewards behavior, systems, and decisions repeated over time. And the moment you understand this, everything starts to change. Here's the first hard reality most smart people never hear. Being good at exams trains you to follow rules, not to question them. You're taught to memorize, perform, and wait for validation. But money doesn't come to people who wait. Money moves towards people who take calculated risks, who act before they feel ready, and who are willing to look stupid in the beginning. Smart people often overthink, overanalyze, and delay. While they're planning the perfect move, someone less intelligent but more decisive has already taken action and is already earning. Another reason smart people struggle with money is because they can confuse income with wealth. A high salary feels like success, but salary without control is a trap. The moment money comes in, lifestyle goes up. Better phone, better car, better rent, because you deserve it. And slowly, silently, your expenses grow faster than your income. No one taught you that wealth is not what you earn, it's what you keep and how you make it work for you. Smart people are excellent at earning money, but terrible at managing it emotionally. Let's talk about fear, because this is where intelligence becomes a weakness. Smart people are very aware of what can go wrong. They see risks clearly, vividly, and constantly. What if the business fails? What if the investment crashes? What if people judge me? This awareness creates paralysis. Meanwhile, people who are less analytical don't see every danger. They just start. They learn by failing, adjusting, and moving forward. Money rewards momentum, not perfection. Another silent reason is identity. Smart people often tie their self-worth to being right, but money requires you to be wrong many times before you're right once. Investments fail, businesses don't work, side hustles flop. If your ego can't handle failure, you'll never stay in the game long enough to win. Wealth is built by people who can detach their identity from outcomes and treat money as a skill, not a judgment of intelligence. And here's the biggest hook most people ignore. School never taught you how money actually works. No one explained cash flow, assets, leverage, inflation, or compounding. You were trained to be safe, not free. You were taught to avoid mistakes, not to recover from them quickly. So when you step into the real world, you're financially unprepared, no matter how smart you are. This isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility. The turning point comes when you stop asking, why am I so smart but still broke? And start asking, what skills do I need to learn now? Financial literacy is learnable. Discipline is learnable. Delayed gratification is learnable. You don't need a higher IQ. You need better systems. Automatic investing, clear goals, spending rules, long-term thinking. When your money decisions are system-based, not emotion-based, progress becomes inevitable. Most people believe that intelligence is the ultimate advantage in life. But when it comes to money, intelligence without action becomes a liability. Smart people think faster, deeper, and further, but that same ability often traps them in their own minds. They analyze every option, calculate every risk, and wait for certainty that never arrives. While they are still perfecting the plan, someone else with half the knowledge but double the courage has already taken the first step. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Money doesn't move towards those who think the most. It moves towards those who move first. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. You can read every book, watch every video, and understand every concept, but until action follows thought, nothing changes. Overthinking feels productive, but it's often just fear wearing the mask of intelligence. Smart people convince themselves they are preparing, when in reality, they are protecting themselves from failure. They want the right time, The right opportunity, the right amount of confidence. But the right time never shows up fully prepared. Action always comes before clarity, not after it. Most financially successful people didn't start with full confidence. They built confidence by starting. They didn't wait to feel ready. They became ready by taking risks and learning on the way. The irony is that intelligence makes you see every possible downside, but money rewards those who accept that downsides are part of the journey, not a reason to stop. Another silent problem is perfectionism. Smart people want to get it right the first time because being wrong feels like failure. But money is built through trial and error. Every investment mistake teaches a lesson. Every failed idea sharpens judgment. Every wrong move brings you closer to the right one. People who win financially are not the ones who avoid mistakes. They are the ones who recover faster from them. When you allow your intelligence to slow you down, you give time to others to overtake you. Momentum beats brilliance every single time. There's also a deep psychological comfort in staying in the thinking phase. Planning doesn't expose you. Action does. The moment you act, you open yourself to judgment, criticism, and the possibility of loss. Smart people hate looking foolish because their identity is tied to being competent. But wealth requires you to be a beginner again and again. The market doesn't care how smart you are, it only responds to what you do consistently. The skill of taking imperfect action compounds faster than raw intelligence ever will. Think about this: knowledge has no value until it is applied. You don't get paid for what you know. You get paid for what you do with what you know. Many intelligent people stay broke not because they lack information, but because they delay implementation. They wait for more learning, more certainty, more validation. But money grows when decisions are made, not when ideas are stored. The smartest decision is often not the safest one. It's the one that moves you forward. Once you understand this, your relationship with intelligence changes. You stop using it as a shield and start using it as a tool. You think just enough to decide, then you act. You build, test, fail, adjust, and repeat. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what if I never start? Because the real risk isn't failure. The real risk is staying exactly where you are while time keeps moving. When intelligence finally meets action, money stops being confusing and starts becoming predictable. Most people believe that earning more money will automatically fix their financial problems, but this belief quietly destroys more smart people than lack of income ever could. A higher salary feels like progress, like proof that life is moving forward. But income without control is not freedom, it's a faster treadmill. The moment money increases, lifestyle expands to match it. A better phone turns into a necessity. A nicer car feels justified. A bigger house feels deserved. And before you realize it, you're earning more than ever and still living with the same stress, the same anxiety, and the same fear of running out. The trap is subtle because it doesn't look like failure. It looks like success. Smart people fall into this trap because they trust their income too much. They believe their skills, education, and intelligence will always protect them. But income is fragile. It depends on health, market conditions, companies, and decisions far beyond your control. Wealth, on the other hand, is built on ownership, systems, and discipline. The problem is that no one taught you this distinction early enough. You were taught how to earn, not how to keep. So when money comes in, it flows out just as quickly, leaving no buffer, no leverage, and no long-term security. There is also an emotional side to spending that rarely gets discussed. After working hard and sacrificing for years, spending becomes a reward. You tell yourself you deserve comfort now, you deserve ease now, and you do. But when every reward is immediate, the future quietly pays the price. Smart people justify expenses logically, but money decisions are rarely logical. They are emotional. Lifestyle inflation happens not because people are careless, but because they are human. The danger is not spending money. The danger is spending without intention. Here's the hook: most people miss wealth is invisible before it becomes obvious. Saving, investing, and delaying gratification don't give you instant validation. No one applauds you for not upgrading your car. No one sees the money you didn't spend. But over time, those invisible decisions create visible freedom, the ability to walk away from toxic work, the ability to survive unexpected crises, the ability to say no. That power doesn't come from how much you earn. It comes from how long your money can sustain you without effort. High income can actually delay financial maturity. When money is always coming in, there's no urgency to build systems. There's no pressure to budget, automate savings, or invest consistently. Problems are solved by earning more, not managing better. But the moment income slows or stops, reality hits hard. The smartest move is not to rely on future income, but to build present control. Systems remove emotion from decisions. Automatic investments, fixed savings rates, and spending rules protect you from your own impulses. Control is not restriction, it's protection. It gives direction to your money instead of letting it disappear silently. When you control money, you tell it where to go instead of wondering where it went. Smart people who master this shift, stop chasing more and start building better. They stop measuring success by salary and start measuring it by stability, flexibility, and time. Because real wealth is not about looking rich. It's about being unshakable when life becomes unpredictable. Most people think money is a numbers game, but in reality, it is an emotional one. You can understand every financial concept, read every book, and still struggle if you cannot control how you feel when uncertainty appears. Smart people often believe knowledge will protect them, but money constantly puts you in situations where certainty does not exist. Markets move without permission. Opportunities appear without guarantees. Losses happen without warning. The people who build wealth are not those who know the most, but those who can stay calm, patient, and consistent when things feel uncomfortable. Intelligence makes you aware of risk, but emotional strength determines whether you move anyway. Smart people can clearly see what could go wrong, and that awareness often creates hesitation. Fear doesn't show up loudly, it whispers in reasonable thoughts. What if I lose this money? What if I make the wrong decision? What if I regret this later? These questions feel responsible, but when they stop action entirely, they quietly steal momentum. Money rewards people who can make decisions without complete information and stay in the game even when outcomes are uncertain. Another emotional challenge is the relationship with failure. Smart people are used to being right. Their identity is built around competence and achievement. But money requires you to be wrong many times before you are right once. Investments go down before they go up. Businesses struggle before they scale. Progress feels slow before it compounds. If every setback feels like a personal judgment, quitting becomes tempting. Financial growth belongs to those who treat mistakes as feedback, not failure. Emotional resilience turns losses into lessons instead of exit points. There is also the problem of short-term pain versus long-term reward. Your brain is wired to seek comfort now, not freedom later. Spending feels good instantly. Saving and investing feel boring and restrictive in the moment. Smart people understand this intellectually, yet still fall victim to it emotionally. Discipline is not about knowing what to do. It's about doing it even when motivation is gone. Wealth grows when habits stay consistent during boredom, not excitement. One of the biggest hooks is understanding that volatility is not danger. It's the price of growth. The emotional discomfort of ups and downs scares intelligent people away from opportunities that require patience. They want smooth progress, predictable returns, and quick validation. But nothing valuable grows in a straight line. Money tests your ability to sit with uncertainty without panicking. Those who can hold their position while emotions fluctuate end up benefiting from compounding that others never reach. Emotional strength also means separating self-worth from net worth. When money becomes a measure of intelligence or success, every fluctuation feels personal. This leads to impulsive decisions driven by fear or ego. Chasing trends to avoid missing out, selling too early to avoid loss, overworking to prove value. Financially strong people detach their identity from outcomes. They follow systems even when emotions disagree. That discipline is what turns knowledge into results. When emotional control finally develops, money stops feeling chaotic. Decisions become calmer. Reactions become slower. Confidence comes not from certainty, but from trust in your process. At that point, intelligence no longer works against you. It works with you. You stop needing perfect conditions and start trusting long-term thinking. And that emotional maturity is what quietly separates those who struggle with money from those who eventually master it. If you're smart and struggling, this is not your failure, it's your wake-up call. Your intelligence is not the problem, your strategy is. The moment you combine your brain with courage, action, and financial discipline, you become unstoppable. Because once a smart person learns how money really works, they don't just survive, they dominate.